Now here's Pastor Charlie with today's bread.
Howdy, and welcome to Thursday's edition of Today's Bread. Now, have you ever made a decision that seemed small in the moment, only to discover later that the consequences were much bigger than you ever imagined? That's why God repeatedly warns us to think before we speak and count the cost before we make commitments. Today, we'll see the heartbreaking conclusion of Jephthah's rash vow. This week's topic is Do Not Make Rash Vows. And today, we're focusing on a tragic decision. Our scripture reference is Judges chapter 11, verses 36 through 40. When Jephthah told his daughter about the vow he had made, her response was remarkable. She understood the seriousness of the situation. Yet, there is no indication that she tried to persuade him to break his promise. Instead, she acknowledged that God had given Israel the victory over the Ammonites and encouraged her father to do what he believed he must do. She did make one request. She asked for 2 months to spend time with her friends and mourn the future she would never have. She said, I will die a virgin. To understand her vow, we need to remember that Hebrew women deeply desired marriage and children. Family was a treasured blessing, and raising future generations was considered a great honor before the Lord. Whatever the exact outcome of Jephthah's vow, she knew the life she had hoped for would never be realized. Now, Bible scholars differ on what happened next. Some believe Jephthah literally sacrificed his daughter, while others believe he dedicated her to a lifetime of service to God, requiring her to remain unmarried and childless. Well, faithful believers have held both views throughout church history. While that discussion is important, the main lesson of the passage is unmistakable. Jephthah put himself and his daughter in a terrible position because he spoke before thinking. He made a vow without carefully considering the consequences. His story reminds us that sincere intentions do not always produce wise decisions. Sometimes people make promises when emotions are high, fear is present, or pressure is intense. But God never asks us to manipulate Him, bargain with Him, or prove our devotion through reckless commitments. Instead, He calls us to trust Him, to obey Him, and to let our words be truthful and thoughtful. Before making a promise to God, to your family, or basically anyone else, take time to pray, seek wisdom, and consider the cost. A few careless words can create consequences that last far longer than we ever imagined. This has been today's bread. Have you prayed today? Well, Thursday's prayer focus for America is that we would pray that truth will rise above lies, confusion, and propaganda. Now remember, Jesus is coming back soon. Here's Thursday's blessing. I bless you with God's perfect love that will displace all fear in your life. It's one day, one devotion, one step closer to Jesus. See you next time on Today's Bread.